Season 2 of The Bad Batch is over, so it's time to talk about some more toys. Hello there, welcome back to the channel. I am Grand Moff Tony. Now, today we're moving on with the Wishlist series to talk about another animated project within Star Wars that I absolutely adore. I'm talking about The Bad Batch. The Bad Batch in Star Wars is another one of those great examples of an idea that we almost didn't get to see, and then it was dropped, and then they brought it back, and now they've got their own TV series. And it's honestly one of my favourite animated projects in the entire Star Wars canon. And it's also one of those rare instances in the Black series where we got the entire team in pretty quick succession. They knocked them out one after another, and now we have a complete set on the shelf. It's best we don't talk about the little situation with Crosshair, because that still hurts. But by and large, The Bad Batch is a series of figures that most collectors who want them have been able to pick up. There's a whole new wave of Season 2 appearances coming for them that were officially revealed at Star Wars Celebration last weekend. But I'm here to talk about 5 characters from The Bad Batch that I need to see come to the Black series. So let's not muck about, let's get into it. Now, I'm going to be sticking to my rules as I usually do in these videos. We're just talking about mainline releases and deluxes. We're not talking about HasLabs, we're not talking about vehicles. We're just sticking to regular release figures that I need to see come to this line. Because right now, it's a pretty small line. It's not Book of Boba Fett small, but it's pretty small. So, kicking things off, let's talk about some honourable mentions. First of all, I'd like to see Captain Hauser come to the Black series. Now, I don't usually talk about clone troopers when I'm talking about these videos, but Captain Hauser was such an important character in the first season. Just seeing that Order 66 programming starting to wear down and having a clone wake up and say, wait, this is wrong. It's such an important part in the storyline. I feel like I need this clone trooper in my collection. A second honourable mention would be Sid. Now, interestingly enough, Sid was previously at number 2 on this list, but I'm still mad at her, so she has been thoroughly demoted down to an honourable mention. Even so, alien head sculpt, it could be a really unique figure and it could come with some really interesting accessories, so I'm still mad at you, Sid, and I'm not rooting for you in the least, but honourable mention. And finally, I'd like to see Depa Billaba come to the line. I feel like we need to get the Jedi Council in the line as much as possible, and Billaba was on the Council in Phantom Menace. She is Kanan's master, so I feel like she's a really important character, and of course, she is the Jedi Master through which the Bad Batch were exposed to Order 66. She's an important character. I need a figure of her. Honourable mentions out of the way, let's get into the real list. Coming in at number 5, we have Cham Syndulla, the revolutionary leader of the Twi'leks, the hero of Ryloth, and a pretty extreme rebel activist. He's not Saw Gerrera extreme, he's kind of like Diet Saw. Cham was a character that I was first introduced to through the books. He pops up quite heavily in the Lords of the Sith book, and of course he features prominently in Star Wars Rebels and the Clone Wars. He is the father of Hera Syndulla, who is one of my favourite characters in all of Star Wars, and he is just a pretty revolutionary figure in the Star Wars canon. This is the hero of the planet that always seems to get the worst end of the stick. Every time there's a catastrophe, or a war, or some kind of crisis, it's always the Twi'leks that end up with the worst end of the deal. Cham is someone who stands up for that, and he could be an absolutely brilliant figure. I recently picked up Aayla Secura, so I got my hands on a proper Twi'lek figure in the Black series, and it just reaffirmed to me how great Cham could be. He has quite a lot of versatility. You could get him in a Clone Wars display, you could stick with a Bad Batch display, or a Rebels display. He pops up so much in the canon that he could just go pretty much anywhere in your display. Fact of the matter is, he would just be a brilliant figure. And honestly, you don't even have to put that much in the box for me to buy him. Just give him a weapon of some kind, maybe a couple of different weapons so you can mix it up a bit. But if you really want to sell me a deluxe Cham Syndulla, you know what I want. There's one thing I want, and I'll buy that. Stick a blurg in that box. Give me the blurg that I wanted to get when I got Queel. Nice articulated creature mount. and I will buy it. I'll go out there and I'll drop deluxe money for a deluxe Cham Syndulla. Every time he wins a war, he goes and finds another one to win. Cham Syndulla comes in at number 5.
For years, I've watched you put your greed and self-interests above Ryloth. You are the one guilty of treason.
At number 4, we have a rather surprising inclusion to Season 2 of The Bad Batch, with Senator Chuchi. Now, this character obviously first popped up in the Clone Wars and was involved in one of my favourite early episodes when it started to already blur the lines between the concepts of good guys and bad guys. But Bad Batch brings Chuchi back in the best way possible. Here we have someone who is desperately advocating for the rights of the clone troopers, and I feel like that alone deserves a figure on the shelf. I'm quite well known in these videos to advocate for political figures in the Black Series, and Chuchi is no exception to that rule, but she is an alien, so it does play into the brilliant alien head sculpt that I will not shut up talking about. But let us not forget that Senator Chuchi features heavily in 2 of Season 2's best episodes, the Coruscant arc, going into the Clone Conspiracy. What great episode title! I was honestly so glad to get this character back into the story, and seeing that she's still out there fighting the good fight, it's incredibly validating. And obviously, as a senator figure, there probably wouldn't be a tremendous amount in the way of accessories. I think she uses a blaster at 1 or 2 points in the season. I'd have to rewatch the episodes, but I'm pretty sure she does, so you can throw that in there, no problem. She's always out there advocating for the right causes, so I am advocating that Senator Chuchi comes to the Black Series. She comes in at number 4.
The recovered command log from Admiral Rampart's Venator, which indicates his own ships caused the destruction of Tipoca City.
At number 3, we have another new addition to the lineup from Season 2, Dr. Royce Hemlock. Really what this series needed was another bad guy, and this guy just takes it to the next level. He is so creepy. I can't get over how creepy this guy is. He talks so softly and he's so calm, and that scene where he walks into a room that's just been gassed and just breathes it in like it's nothing, it just sends chills up my spine. He's so creepy. You can almost kind of see in that boardroom scene in the Summit episode that even the other Imperials are creeped out by Hemlock. He's just so weird. I do find it interesting that the villains of this series really play into very personal themes for the Bad Batch. Season 1, you had Admiral Rampart, a military politician. Now in Season 2, you've got a genetic scientist that obviously plays straight into the Bad Batch's origins as genetic experiments. But really, the reason I want to get Hemlock in the line is I just feel like he would come with such great accessories. Even if it's just another opportunity to get that torture ball droid from the Tarkin set back into the line again, I would take it. I would happily take another one of those Dr. Balls. But I'm seeing lots of syringes, I'm seeing gas bombs, just things to really elevate the figure to the next level. And is it me, or has he got kind of a Jeremy Renner likeness to him? He kind of looks like Hawkeye looked at the start of Avengers Endgame. You know, he's got the really cropped hair on the sides. Just something about that face is giving me Jeremy Renner vibes. He is a fine addition to the story, and I think he'd be a fine addition to the Black Series. Dr. Hemlock comes in at number 3.
Your chief scientist has not been forthcoming. Nalase's defiance is problematic. How very interesting. It seems we have much to discuss.
Coming in at number 2, the spot that would have gone to Sid if she weren't a piece of garbage, I'm throwing in Phee Genoa, the new addition to the series from Wanda Sykes of all people. This was an example of one of those characters that from the moment she was introduced, I didn't trust her. She's got kind of a Dr. Aphra feel to her, where you don't really know, where's the lines in her morality? Is she a good person? Is she a bad person? Is she somewhere in between? I think she's somewhere in between, but she at least proved herself a better person than Sid. I'm probably a little biased because I'm a big fan of Indiana Jones and the whole tomb raiding subgenre, but I really enjoyed her episodes where they went out on adventures and they looked for hidden treasures, and the hidden treasures always turned out to be incredibly dangerous, so they had to leave them behind. Something about that kind of storytelling just always gets me interested. She was honestly just a really surprisingly great character, and so I want to see her in the Black Series. I would happily pay for a figure of this character. And really, it comes down to a similar reason to why I want Hemlock. I feel like Fee would come with some really great accessories. You remember that Grand Admiral Thrawn set that I'm always crying that I don't have, that comes with all of those brilliant artifacts from Thrawn's office? Wouldn't a Fee figure be a brilliant opportunity to bring some more of those weird little alien artifacts back into the line? I saw at Star Wars Celebration, or just after I think it was, that we're getting the Ithorian from Galaxy's Edge, and he's coming with a number of curious alien artifacts, including holocrons and whatnot. I would love to get some of the artifacts that Fee talks about, or even shows. The little tree thing that she has, the crystal from the heart of that giant mech, that's definitely from the Zepho, right? We all agree on that, right? So beyond just getting, like, basic weapons and accessories into these figures, I want to see some more, like, world building, some more artifacts that this kind of character would go off in search of. I'm a big fan of this kind of archaeologist subgenre in Star Wars right now that obviously plays into some of the elements that inspired the series. So yeah, I want to get Fee into the line. Fee comes in at number 2.
Hey now, got a name, Brown Eyes?
But the number 1 character from the Bad Batch that I need to see come to the Black Series, it's Kaminoans. Just any Kaminoans. Give me Lama Su, give me Nala Se, Ton Wee. Hey, even give me Senator Batoni. I don't mind, just give me Kaminoans. I feel like these would be fantastic figures. They are so intricately designed, they look incredible. They would just look fantastic in Black Series form. Obviously, I go on and on and on about how the Black Series does so well with alien sculpts. These are alien front ends of giraffes. I feel like they would look incredible in the line. And honestly, I don't even care which one I get. I just want a Kaminoan. I just want one of those tall, lanky, towering figures standing on my shelf. I feel like it would add an all-new level of depth to the characters that you see on display. Someone mentioned the Kaminoans back when I talked about characters from Attack of the Clones that I'd like to see come to the Black Series, and yeah, I 100% agree. They need to come into the line somewhere. I don't know if their height would relegate them to needing to be deluxe. I think they probably would. But that just opens up opportunities for some more accessories we can throw in. Give me an AZ-3. I'd go for that in a heartbeat. Or maybe a clone cadet. How about that? Get some clone cadets into the line as well. I don't know if you could really army build by doing them in 2-packs with a Kaminoan character and a clone cadet, but it has potential. But there are so many great Kaminoan characters that we could bring into the Black Series just by introducing this exceptional alien mold. My collection is flowing over with clone troopers and clone characters. I think we need to get their creators into the line. If I had to pick one that I wanted above all the others, it would probably be Lama Su. I just absolutely love him. He's so cool and so calm and calculated, even when the whole situation is falling apart around him and he knows he's in inevitable danger. He's so confident that they're going to get away and they're going to be okay. So yeah, if I had to pick one, I'd go for Lama Su, but I just want to see some Kaminoans. Bring them in, I will buy them all.
We must be cautious. Until the Empire's intentions are made clear, say nothing.
So there you have it, 5 characters from the Bad Batch that I need to see come to the Black Series. How about you? You must have some ideas. What are some characters from the Bad Batch that you'd like to see come to the line? Maybe a young Hera, or perhaps some of the villagers from Pabu. Whatever your ideas, I'm always excited to hear about them, so leave them down below and I will get back to each and every one of you. And having almost nothing to do with the sequel coming down the pipes very, very quickly, on the next episode of Wishlist, we're going to be talking about 5 characters from Jedi Fallen Order that I need to see come to the Black Series. In the meantime, however, I've been Grand Moff Tony. That was my top 5 Black Series wishlist for the Bad Batch. You may subscribe when ready. A second on...